Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to a new podcast. Today, I am with my good friend Josh. Say hi, Josh.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Yeah.
This is Josh from Hand Letter Foundry Designs.
Yeah, that's the plug, man. So he has right now he's working. Where do you work, Josh?
Let's just say I work in Hollywood space.
Yes.
In product user experience, user interface design.
Yes, which is what UXUI pretty much is, and that's what this episode really is about. We're like I'm just gonna ask him some questions regarding it, because it seems like a very new industry. So we'll just get started. So Josh, first question: can you tell us about your background and how you got started in UX/UI design?
All right. User experience, user interface design was a really young concept in basically the tech space where it actually bloomed. I was first a graphic designer, and I started with graphic design because just for me, it's the easiest way to go. If you start in the art field. And since graphic design also works with psychology, which is one of my other specialties, playing around with how people think and, sucking them into the space of your own design. And, that's how I actually started. I was a graphic designer for one of NBC shows called World of Dance. And I did social media design for them for a good time, 2-3 years, I would say. Then from there, I got really bored because I just think that social media can be done by other people beside me, and I can put my skills somewhere else. That's why I started, looking for spaces where I can be creative as well as manipulate people's brains. I know it sounds dark, but that's what I'm specializing in, manipulating people to keep them doing whatever I want them to do.
Awesome.
And from there, I started designing apps. And I've been doing it for 2 years now, and I sold 3 of my apps overseas, which is a menu app, a language learning app, and basically it's a group collection app.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, I
where
remember
people can aggregate to one space, and it's like an Uber for people. But that's it. Then from there, I got hired to this multi-billion company, and that's where I am right now.
That's awesome.
In Hollywood space.
That's awesome, man. So, when are you gonna get me into the next Marvel movie, bro?
Marvel. That is that is a tricky question, mate.
I know it's hard. It's very hard.
Yes. But there is one thing that is set in stone. If you are, if you're working for a goal, and it's actually there's hard evidence that you're actually working hard, then it's not impossible to be working in Marvel. That's
true. Thank you, man. Yeah. My campaign. I have a campaign for that. That's for next time. What are some key skills that you think are essential for a successful UX/UI designer?
Well, all UX/UI designers should have these skills. And it's inevitable that you will come across these skills if you work in the design space. And one of the things is knowing the design thinking. Design thinking is knowing the pain point, planning around the pain point, try iterating around the pain.
Yeah.
After planning, you have to create a concept, a design to help that pain point. Experimenting, testing your design, and keep iterating on that design until you can get an MVP, which is called the minimum viable product.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, you can release it to the world. Then once you release it to the world, you'll get feedbacks, this and that, and you can test those iterating in it. It's an overarching concept in design, which is called the design thinking.
Yeah.
That is one.
Okay.
Second thing is presentation skills. If you are not able to talk in front of people, just don't do UX UI design, because UX UI design is based off presenting your work in front of a lot of people and convincing them that your product actually works.
Okay.
And number 3, it's called it's basically coercion.
Yeah.
It writes off my second concept of, presentation, coercion, and working around the psychology of other people, how they think, empathizing basically. If you don't have empathy, you are not able to discern other people's thinking.
Yeah.
You are not able to feel what they feel like, and empathy is one of the most key. It's the key concept in UX UI design. That's why it's made. You need to empathize with people.
Okay.
And you have to disregard what you feel, because you are not the customer. You are the designer.
Yeah. So this is actually like off the script, but in terms of like psychology, like how did you come to find like all that, like the information, like the little, like through experience, or is it like you did some research, like was there a book?
So for basic psychology is everywhere, everyone has experiences of this and that.
Yeah.
That's one way to think about psychology.
Yeah.
But second thing, there are data driven psychology stuff, which is like backed by scientific data.
Yeah.
Which are usually in books and scientific journals. I recommend people to start reading scientific journals, because usually social media and whatever you see are just fluff information that people keep pushing without data driven ideas.
Yeah.
And if an idea is not data driven, it is an opinion. It's not facts.
It's not fact. Yeah.
And design is based off facts. It's not art. Art is fluid. Art has emotion.
Yeah.
But design doesn't have emotion. It doesn't have feeling. It only has data. It's art backed up by data. So if I'm answering your question correctly, psychology, I learned it, of course, from personal experience, like talking with other people, pushing their boundaries, pushing them to the corner and checking how would they react. I do that a lot. It sounds bad, but that's how my brain works. And secondly is reading a lot of books. And maybe I cannot recommend a book right now, but scientific journals, especially if you're in high school or in your college, you have free access to those journals. You guys can just Google it off.
Oh, for sure. I'll probably go do that tonight. How do you approach a new design project, and like what are the steps you do to take to ensure that you're meeting those needs of the users?
Okay. Well, first things first. Let's establish this. Let's just say we are designing from scratch.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's go back to design thinking, to the the 3 things that I said that any UX UI designer needs.
Yeah.
Design thinking. Look for a pain point.
Mm-hmm.
Pain points are things that humans are having a hard time,
grasping, or
not grasping, but let's say a person with a wheelchair cannot climb up the stairs.
Yeah.
That's one pain point for disabled people. What was the solution made for those wheelchair? Let's start from there.
Yeah.
And let's just say there's no solution for the wheelchair people first.
Yeah.
How can a person that how do you say, ride?
Uses
a wheelchair, go
yeah.
up the stairs on an establishment. That's the pain point that we're gonna get up to. Now we're gonna start making ideas. There's a thing called Crazy 8s.
Okay.
In Coursera. Coursera is a 3-month free program.
Okay.
In UX UI design.
Ideas.
If you didn't know that.
Ideas.
No, you know that.
Awesome.
If you're starting off, they have a 3-month free program. If you can finish it whenever you want.
Okay.
And that's one thing to bolster your resume too. But anyway.
Okay.
There's something called Crazy 8s. You can just write 8 crazy ideas in quick fashion, because your brain works quickly, and the more time you keep your brain thinking in one thing, it's gonna tire out.
Okay.
So it's much better to squeeze all the ideas all in one go, rather than letting it steep in your brain. And it doesn't usually happen in that one burst, but let's just say do 8 ideas, rest a little bit, put on the side another 8 ideas. Then like scientists, from that idea we start making physical stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Concept, let's just say what they are. We start putting physicality on the concepts. We put it on paper. We make maquettes. We make it mock-ups, and from there we test it on the real world, right?
Yes.
Let's say I came up with a solution of, let's put a crane by the stairs so that the crane can put the wheelchair above the establishment so they can cross.
Yeah.
It is a working idea,
Uh-huh.
but is it sustainable? You have to ask a lot of those questions like, is this idea feasible? Is it sustainable? Right? And there's more things to that. I am not a specialist in those type of things.
Mm-hmm.
What I am specializing on is aesthetics, feasibility, and like how are we gonna manufacture things. But that comes in a later time once you're actually a specialist in the UX/UI design space.
Awesome.
Then I am so sorry. I may be going off tangent. What was the question again?
I think you pretty much answered like how are you meeting the needs of the user, so like the feasibility, you pretty much answered that.
Just TLDR, like scientists we look for the problem, we create a solution, we test the solution. If the solution works for some of the people, then we redesign. Then we have to think, why is this solution not working for other people? Then we integrate those new solutions to one bigger solutions, and that's how the iPhone started.
Yeah, that's true. Awesome.
I think it's a pretty easy field if you're gonna get into, and it's the hardest thing about UX/UI design is specializing in something, which is a lot of junior UX designers, which is I am. I've been only there for 2 years.
Uh-huh.
Have a hard time on what should I specialize in, and that's one thing to think about once you're in the field.
Do you know anyone who specializes in anything, or are you guys just you okay?
I specialize in psychology.
Oh, psychology, the psychological aspect. Okay, that's cool.
But since only for UX/UI design, you can only actually use psychology in the digital side, not on the
planning.
Let's say
no,
not the. Let's say I'll make a cup. You cannot use psychology there at all.
Yeah.
It's just grab the cup, and if it feels good, then it's usable.
Oh, okay. So that pretty much answers number 3. Can you walk us through a particularly challenging project you worked on and how you overcame any obstacles?
That is one of the questions that we have for new hires.
Okay.
Which I think is pretty.
So you're gonna tell us how to answer that question?
No. I will answer your question, but
not the answer you're looking for.
I believe that question doesn't prove anything to anyone.
Okay.
Especially in an interview setting, you're just basically saying that you are basically saying that all people will have one big problem that they can overcome in each task, wherein I will say I don't have any, because I'm pretty confident with my craft.
Which is a pretty good answer. But that's not what they're looking for.
That's not what the interviewers are looking for.
Yeah, they're looking for awareness.
God. So when I was in high school, I have this project that my teacher told me to do. Then I overcame it through power of friendship, which is quite crappy in my opinion.
Do people actually answer it like that?
Yes, you'll
the power of not even collaboration
not
or
power of friendship. Of course, it's gonna be because I ask a lot of people for help, which is good. You'll see that they know how to ask for help, but that doesn't change the fact that you just ask a person, give me a problem, how you solve it. That's the best way to formulate that question. It's not give me a time and space wherein you have a problem and how you overcome it.
So specifics.
Boiling it down to the core of the question is, give me a time or you had a problem, how do you solve it?
Oh, okay.
Oh, I have a problem in a math class. I solved it through mathematics.
Through
Bullshit.
through research and hard, diligent
so-
work.
I told you I'm going to answer that question, and how would I think employers. I am not confident with my interview skills because how I got into this space is not through interview. I got it through portfolio, website, and what did I tell you guys? It's about presenting yourself.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And you have to know your weaknesses too.
Yeah, that's
My
true.
that's one of my weaknesses.
You don't see it,
I do not.
or like you don't like the way you function is like it helps you by not thinking about your problem, just focusing on the solutions, or something like, I don't know.
I guess how I think in an interview settings is they're trying to break you down
Yeah,
and analyze how you work,
yeah,
but it is not fair to a lot of people because that structure is made for people that actually has hardships, wherein I would say to myself that I never had any hardships
yeah.
in the workspace.
Because
Because I am confident with my craft that I'm a functioning designer.
yeah, of course.
Yeah,
course.
and I think that's a completely fair answer too. It may be a little bit pompous,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
little bit too prideful to some people.
But it's an honest answer, like it's
But that's
legit.
how I think of myself.
Yeah, it's not like you're cocky. It's just literally
I
like
am
you
not-
don't.
yeah.
It's not cocky. It's because like people say that, oh, when you say that, oh, I could do this, like what do you expect them to say, like, oh, I can't do, like, even though deep inside you know that, oh, I'm confident that I can do this.
Yes, and I
Some
will
people-
also say, oh, I don't know how to do that. I say that a lot, and
Yeah.
if I can do it, I'll say I'll do it.
Yeah.
Because I can do it.
Mhm.
If I cannot do it, I'll say, oh, ask someone else because I am the wrong person to ask for that.
Yeah,
And you have to know your strengths and weaknesses, and that's one of the best things about being an adult is you actually know what your strengths and weaknesses are already, and the only thing you have to do is strengthen the strengths, and
get rid of the
don't
weaknesses.
use. This is one thing that I think is, it's a paradox that you don't really have to work on your weaknesses. You can just craft your strengths to a point where your strengths overshadows your weaknesses.
Ooh,
That's how I think about it.
that makes sense.
Because if you're focused on something, you will always forget something.
Yeah,
Let's say people drink to forget problems. I train my strengths to forget my weaknesses. It's a yin and yang thing that you just overpower something so that they just hide it somewhere else.
like cancels out.
Yeah, PEMDAS, bro. I don't know what that means, but I think that's what it is.
Yeah, that makes sense though. It does make sense. So it's like basically you take your strengths like to the point where the weaknesses are just like
It's just
like
overshadowed.
yeah. That makes sense.
Like, okay, it may be not about design, but us men were at one point in time we're so scared to ask women out,
Yes.
and we just made ourselves so confident enough to ask one girl out, and once we're with that one girl, everything just gets
Just like click,
overshadowed,
yeah. So like you
I
just
mean,
forget
I
about
think
everything.
it's the same. It runs on the same wavelength of that concept.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'm not sure, but I think that way.
Yeah. So yeah. Like I don't know if my brain just like stopped working right now. But yeah, for sure. That's a really good way of thinking about
I'm
it.
sorry, I may sound like an old man. I'm only 27, and I still have way too many things to do in life to learn more about in life.
Yeah.
But this is the things that I've experienced. Is that this is what I can share.
Yeah. You're like, you're good where you are, but you're still growing.
I'm still growing, and
Yeah.
without growth, you're not your value is always zero.
I'd say I'd say you'd achieve a good amount. Like you're one of the like higher up there, like out of the people I know. Like, especially right now you're working in like Hollywood and like you're managing like a lot of people, and that takes a lot of maturity and experience to be in that space.
Okay, so let's get one thing straight. Being a manager is nothing.
Okay. Okay, all right.
That's all I'm gonna say. If you think you're a manager and being a manager is an important thing, then you are, you are overvaluing yourself.
Okay.
That's my point in like the workspace.
Yeah.
Being a manager is not important because you're just basically telling people what to do. But there's always, you don't need a manager for a manager.
Yeah.
Wherein a lot of tech companies are like, oh, I have a manager for a manager, I have a manager for another manager. It's like, bro, just have one manager for one team. That's okay.
You're an executive manager or something.
You do not understand how the tech works. You have to report to 3 fucking people, wherein that same answer is just getting telephoned to the higher ups, which is You're spending what $360,000 on one person that will just telephone something to someone else, where it can just be an email.
Yeah.
It does not make sense. But yes, I may be a product manager, but that side of my job is the most useless thing. Still, the UX UI design part is the most heart fulfilling thing, I believe.
So it's the thing that really gets you up, like when
it's
you
something that would make me wake up in the morning and go to work. But being a manager is not one of them.
So would you say that like 80% is delegated to UX and then the other 20 is
95% is on UX.
So like 5%
5% is on manager.
You just like read your emails. Oh, okay. Nothing's wrong.
I don't know about you. Have you seen any managers?
I've worked with managers. Yeah.
What do you think
they're just in front of the the computer.
That's how all the managers are. They're just in front of the computer.
I mean, there was one I worked for a lab, like a school. He would occasionally he would be the one actually doing the work.
Yes, and that's the useful kind.
Yeah.
But here in the tech space, perpetualize that. Oh, you just have to report to the manager, and they make reports for the whole team, and another person will make a report for the whole team.
This is endless, kind of dumb.
Freaking garbage. You are spending millions of dollars on managers that are practically useless, and one email can just destroy their lives. I mean, not destroy their life, destroy their position.
I mean, why would you say they even started that kind of hierarchy in the first place?
I don't want to get into it, but I heard in one conversation about there was a book that I read about communist Russia, wherein they just had to make jobs for everyone, so it happened.
Oh.
It may not be true in the sense of not communist, not in the United States.
Yeah.
But I think it's consistent through all of the walks of human lives, workforce, where you just have to make a lot of job, and you need, for managers, they need a stepping up point wherein I am a level 1 manager, I am a level 2 manager, executive manager, and that's what happened.
Just to influence people to work hard and just climb the ranks.
Yeah, but I don't want to make it as a fact. It's just what I observe.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I am correct, but that's what I see.
Yeah, it's from what you've perceived or what you've observed. Yeah,
people
that makes sense.
People will say I'm wrong. Yes, I may be wrong, but
yeah.
If my observations and I have my eyes 20/20, then I think I have a pretty clear observation of things.
Yeah, no, for sure though.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, that does have merit to it.
Yeah.
So, how the next question? I don't know if you answered this already. How do you balance the needs of users with business goals of a project?
So the thing is, a big company has a lot of UXers.
Yeah.
Interface designers and product designers. But in my company, I am the sole UX/UI product designer.
Ooh.
Since we're still in a small team.
Yeah.
But my team plus the Asian team, we're basically have 9-figure revenue ROI, return on investments.
Okay.
Which is, I think, pretty big for a startup here in the US.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, the question is, how do I balance the needs of the people with
needs of the users with the business goals. So I guess
goals.
like the
Yeah. So
yeah.
the business goals always follow the users,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, of
Let's
course.
say we make
Of
a
course.
product.
Yes.
The reason why we made the product is because we knew that people need it, and I think that question and the answer already answers both questions.
Yeah.
That one quote is, if you make a product, there's always a bunch of people that need it,
Yeah.
and that's why you're making it. Why the fuck do people make doggy doors?
So dogs can easily.
Like, exactly,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't. Okay. Okay, that
What's
makes sense.
Form follow function or whatever the fuck that is in graphic design,
Form follow function.
or product follows pain points.
Oh, pain points. So like the
Yeah. That's-
freaking the wheelchair,
Yeah, the wheelchair, the crane.
thingy. If it's
But if it's feasible, it's not feasible. That's why they made a ramp, because it's easier to make and you can keep it there.
Yeah,
A lot
exactly.
more people can use it, not just wheelchair people.
and no electricity required. It's just there
Yeah.
always.
You can't
'cause-
even put electricity, but the thing is, a lot more people can use it. Not only wheelchair people. Older people can use it that cannot
Yeah.
use the chairs.
or people on scooters, or
Yeah.
skateboarders.
Skateboard, yes.
Skateboard. But yeah, for sure. All right, so that pretty much answers number 5.
Dang, how many questions are there?
There are 10, but I'll just
That's fine. Just
choose-
Ask me up.
I'll just choose one that you haven't answered yet, because the next one, so common mistakes, you already pretty much said that, like, some people.
Common mistakes that people make in UX/UI design is they have ugly portfolios.
Okay, thank you. I will keep that in mind for in case I ever want to start working in that space.
And if you have an ugly portfolio, you just have to be a good presenter. It balances it off.
Oh, okay. All right, let's see. Can you discuss the role of... Okay, you already discussed the role of empathy, right? Because, like,
Empathy in the UX/UI design. Is,
Yeah.
You
So
understand how
people
feel.
think. Yeah.
It's easier to make solutions.
Yeah. That's awesome. So it's not
And-
just, like coding. It's,
Yeah, and all these things is like, it's so... I mean, if you're gonna take the UX/UI design course for Google, they're just making it so long-winded, wherein it's so easy. So why do we need to empathize with other people to help them? It's like, brother, how are you gonna solve a problem if you don't understand the pain point of other people?
That's true.
Like, if you're just gonna look at a problem in your perspective, then you're the most greediest person I've ever known.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Because, like, a business, like, you're working to solve... I mean...
Okay, I want to be controversial right now. Look at this transgender bullshit right now.
Oh, my God. Okay, go.
Right?
Go.
Like, how can non-transgender people empathize with transgender people? Right now it's just basically black and white. How can we gray everything out wherein both sides can, like, benefit from something that they're arguing about?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like no transgender people or everyone has to be gay.
Yeah.
It has to be like a world where everyone can live
Be themselves.
peacefully.
Yeah.
But I have my stance in that, which is not gray.
That's for another
for some
podcast.
other
That's for
time.
another podcast. But yeah.
But
Wait, what was the point in that? You lost me.
Hmm?
What was the point? So, where's the empathy in that? Like.
No, it's just basically saying that how can you solve a problem without knowing the other person's side?
Oh.
It's basically the point. Basically,
Yeah.
the debate, right?
Yeah.
It's basically, the mediator will throw you a problem,
Yeah.
and both sides will take a side, but to debate something, both sides needs to know the argument.
The argument of the other
side.
one,
Yeah.
so you can rebut it.
So you can rebuttal.
Get it, for sure. Dang, dude, that's 29 minutes of pure quality content because of Josh right there. He has like a lot of insight, like he's if you want to apply as a social media manager, just email him right now.
I swear, bro, why did you use my real name?
I'll put your email in there. No, but yeah, thank you so much for being here, man. Like is there any other advice you can give to anyone who's aspiring to be, because like I know a lot of people who get into this, they're usually switching from another
That
yeah.
is correct. So
Yeah.
a lot of the UXers that I've seen are from nursing, engineering, architecture, and that's the best way to go into the UX field is having a specialty first and switching in because you have a better perspective in life. Let's say you're from a restaurant.
Yeah.
Now you know more people's like, oh, a lot of people are waiting in line. How can we solve this problem?
Yeah.
You have a different perspective from other people. And that's what makes UX so exciting is that different walks of life is trying to solve a lot of problems, you know.
Yeah.
But one thing that I can tell all the people that they need to do is you can fake it till you make it, but you need hard data driven things to drive your argument, not just pure pompous, prideful, egotistic claims.
So let's summarize that. So you said you said if your portfolio is shit,
Be
a good presenter.
If you're a shit presenter, the portfolio will always speak for itself.
I love it, man.
And that's design world. I may not be a famous designer, but that's how the design world is.
All right, so make sure to check out Josh's masterclass coming out. Here's his Patreon link. All right, thank you so much, guys, and stay tuned for the next interview, which I have some interviews coming up. Stay tuned.